Hello, Squirrel Tribe. Let's see here. Can you guys hear me? The echo will be what the echo is. I have to apologize for that. I don't have anything on the walls right now, so it's a little echoey in here. But let me know if you guys can hear me. We have the live chat working today. I can see it on the corner of my screen. Last time there was no live chat visible, so at least YouTube has gotten their head out of their butts for today, Saturday, March 29th at roughly 5:45 p.m. Central Time. YouTube is doing something correctly. You guys are saying you can hear me? All right, let's go. Number one, before we get into anything, this is my new Bucky shirt. Say hello to my new Bucky's shirt. I would like to point out this is not my logo. This is from the gas station, the Bucky's gas station. I had somebody tag me in a post on X. They tagged me and a channel here on YouTube called Cinema Shogun. Cinema Shogun was wearing a Bucky shirt, but the person who tagged me thought he was wearing one of my shirts, my SquirrelTribe shirts, because I wear Bucky shirts more than I wear SquirrelTribe shirts. So I should probably see if Bucky's wants to sponsor me since I am wearing their stuff all the time. I'm just going to give people a second to show up here. So I'm going to give you another little Bucky's story real quick. My husband and I went to, I call it supper. We had like a supper date right before this, and we went to eat, and I went to go use the restroom and wash my hands because you should always wash your hands before you eat. Don't be gross. I went to go wash my hands, and there's a table, a family, husband, wife, I assume, another guy and some kids and whatever else. And I'm walking by, and the guy goes, "Hey, is that a Bucky shirt?" And I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Right on," fist bump, whatever. And he's like, "Which one's that from?" And I said, "This is from Auburn, Georgia, because we drive past it to go from Florida to Georgia to see our family." And I was like, "You should go one day and get some shirts." He goes, "Yeah, I think I'm going to do that." He goes, "They're building a new Bucky's in Wisconsin." And I was like, "Well, looks like I'm going to Wisconsin one day because I like to go to Bucky's. It's really weird. I'd pick that over most places just because it's fun, right?" And I mentioned to him that all of the Bucky's have different t-shirts and you can't order them online. You have to visit the locations. And I realized that Bucky's, in case you've never been there, is kind of like Walmart and Disney had a baby, but then treated it like a redheaded stepchild. That's what Bucky's is to me. If you've never been, you should definitely go. It looks like we have enough people in here, so let's go ahead and jump into this. I do see somebody said, what states are these in? I know it started in Texas. Texas is the one place I did not buy a Bucky's t-shirt. I've been to the Bucky's in Crossville, how you're supposed to say it, Tennessee, the one in Auburn. There's been, if I go in my closet back here behind me, I've got probably 15 Bucky's t-shirts from all these different places, but I did not buy one in Texas. So we have to go back to Texas at some point just to get a Bucky's t-shirt. Now, we're going to jump into a little bit of everything today because I have not watched, I'm just going to put it out there, I have not watched the latest Candace Owens video here on YouTube where she pretty much drags RFK Jr. Now, for those of you who aren't aware, in the beginning of RFK Jr.'s campaign for the presidential campaign, when he was running as an independent with, what's her name? Something Shanahan, right? What's her name? Or is her name Shannon? No, something Shanahan. I can't remember her name. I'm having a moment, but it's okay. They were running for president, vice president, right? And Nicole Shanahan, thank y'all. I appreciate y'all in the live chat. Nicole Shanahan. They were running together. He for president, her for VP, whatever else, as independents. But then the Democrats and everything, it all went wiggly bad. And so they pulled out as independents and they decided to basically move their support over to the Republicans and then moved it over to Donald Trump and everything else. And in the beginning, Candace Owens was a fan of RFK Jr. She liked what he stood for. She liked the Make America Healthy Again. She liked a bunch of stuff about him. But then there was this whole beef between the two of them, basically for, I'm going to say it wrong, anti-Semite, I think is the right word, issues and stuff between Candace Owens and RFK Jr. I'm not going to jump into all that because you know how YouTube likes to just put a stop to all different kinds of conversation. So we're not going to jump into that conversation. But I was like, I wonder why right now there's a bunch of stuff going around. Because yesterday I talked about RFK Jr. and the fat shaming, which wasn't really fat shaming, of the, Virginia governor? I don't remember, Patrick something or other. And about how he's going to lose weight. He's going to put him on a strict diet and this workout and then do these weigh-ins on stage and all this other stuff, right? And a lot of people were like, have you heard about the blackmail with RFK Jr.? And I was like, oh, boo, tell me more. No, I have not heard about the blackmail with RFK Jr. So it turns out that there is talk that RFK Jr. is failing in his duties and the things that he said he was going to do because he's being blackmailed by somebody, maybe for extramarital affairs, maybe for ties to something or other. Who really knows, right? So I haven't watched it yet, but I asked Grok because I was like, I want to know from an outside perspective what this whole situation is about. Now, Grok over on X, it's the whatever AI version of ChatGPT, which is still AI. I don't know why I say AI version. It's ChatGPT, but like better in theory because it's through X. And Grok 3 pretty much talks to you like you and I would talk. Like it's conversational information when you ask it a question. But what it does is it pulls information from the sources that you request, being Candace Owens's video, RFK Jr, and what he has done since being sworn in for Donald Trump's cabinet and all these other things. So I asked it a bunch of questions, and then I had it kind of summarize everything that it pulled, right? Because it pulls everything from the internet, from facts that it finds, but also from opinions that it finds. So this is always important to keep in mind, whether it's Grok, whether it's ChatGPT, whatever it is. It's not always going to be 100% accurate because it pulls things from the internet. Sometimes it is fact, sometimes it is fiction, sometimes it's opinion, and you have to take every single thing with a grain of salt. I tell you all the time, take everything I say with a grain of salt. I will be wrong every once in a while. It is never on purpose, but it does happen. I expect everybody to still do their own research if they want to either confirm or deny whatever the things I'm talking about, right? So I asked Grok about Candace Owens and RFK Jr. And this is what it said. This was my question. This is the condensed question after all the other questions I asked and then had it kind of summarized, right? And I said, what is Candace Owens's beef with RFK Jr.? Basically what I asked. And this is how it interpreted her video, what's going on between the two of them, what it can find on the worldwide interwebs and whatnot. And I just want to read it to you, okay? It says, Candace Owens has recently made several statements about Robert F. Kennedy Jr., RFK Jr., or Bobby, whatever you want to call him, primarily focusing on allegations of blackmail and his shift in priorities. All right, now this is important. In a podcast episode titled Who Was Controlling RFK Jr., which is the one she put out on the 27th or 28th, yesterday or the day before, it says here that Candace suggests that RFK Jr. may be compromised or blackmailed, potentially by Israel or other entities. Now, I will say right now, that Candace Owens seems to have a very big dislike for Israel from what I have seen. Maybe I'm incorrect. Maybe I'm looking at it incorrectly, but that is what it seems like based off of things that I have witnessed via video and little excerpts of conversation with her and other people and stuff like that. So that could have some issues there. It says here that she points to his relationship with a journalist named Olivia Nuzzi, I believe is how you say her name, with whom he reportedly had an affair. Now, we say had an affair because he is married to Cheryl Hines. She's an actress, the blonde chick. She was in all kinds of stuff, but I remember her from The Grinch, the one with, what's his name, Jim Carrey. She was in that movie. And it says here, what is it? He reportedly had an affair as a possible, let's go back. She points to his relationship with journalist Olivia Nuzzi, with whom he reportedly had an affair, as a possible leverage point, noting Nuzzi's current residence in Malibu and her car's license plate beginning with RFK. Could be coincidence, could be non-coincidence, whatever we go there. Owens questions who might be influencing RFK Jr.'s decisions, implying a deeper conspiracy involving sexual blackmail without providing concrete evidence. Additionally, Owens has criticized RFK Jr. for focusing on anti-Semitism rather than the health-related issues she believes he was appointed to address as Health and Human Services Secretary. Remember, he is the head of HHS. He took over for that man dressed as a woman, Rachel Levine, which really, obviously, the name is not Rachel because it's a dude. She expressed frustration, stating this was not the mandate supporters expected from him. This critique aligns with her broader narrative of distrust towards his current actions and associations, contrasting with her earlier praise. For instance, in November of just last year, 2024, during the whole election process or leading up to the election process, she basically was happy about his appointment, the fact that he was going to be appointed for HHS and to make America healthy again, right? And crediting his charity with aiding her decision not to vaccinate her children after her own vaccine injury experience, and calling him an amazing choice for the role, her words. It says here, though, Owens' recent comments also revisit past tensions, here's why, when RFK Jr. in 2024, a criticism of her for remarks about Rabbi, I'm not going to mess with this name, a rabbi, because I'll mess his name up, some rabbi, which he called sickening. So she made some comments about a rabbi that RFK Jr. did not agree with. He called them her comments sickening. Her latest statements reflect a shift from admiration of RFK Jr. or Bobby, whatever you want to call him, to skepticism, meaning she no longer is trusting of what he's doing and who he is. And now she's a little more skeptical about who he is, what he's doing, what his actual goals and plans are for his role at HHS. And it says here that framing RFK, she's basically saying potentially controlled or distracted from his original mission, which his original mission was to make America healthy again, right? These claims have sparked significant discussion on platforms like X, which is interesting here, though they remain speculative and lack definitive proof. Excuse me, very dry throat. So Candace is like me in a sense that she gives a lot of opinion on the things that she hears, sees, and thinks, and she'll tell you the facts, she'll give you all the whatever, but then she'll also lace her opinion through a lot of stuff, which, hello, I'm notorious for being very opinion-based in a lot of stuff. I could easily take opinion out and just give you guys information, but that seems boring. So we always have opinion. Now, my opinion lately of RFK Jr. Is that it seems to me that he is doing some of the things that he said he was going to do, right? He is trying to take dyes, like harmful food dyes out and certain chemicals out, and he wants to focus on root causes of illness and injuries, and he wants to focus on keeping, how to phrase this, not making America healthy again, obviously, but starting from the beginning so that you don't have to make it healthy, you have to just keep it healthy. Because in my opinion, the words make it healthy means that it was unhealthy to begin with, therefore you have to fix it. He wants to look into ways to make it so that you don't have to fix anything because you're already healthy. The food you're eating is already safe for you. The medicines you are taking are safe for you. Whatever vaccines you may get are safe for you, things like that, right? So then, out of curiosity, I asked Grok, I was like, hey, Grok, boo, what exactly has good old Bobby done since he was appointed to the HHS whatever, right? And it says here, I'm just going to read it to you because I like the way Grok answers these things. It's very conversational. It says, since his appointment as Secretary of the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, HHS, on February 13th, 2025, so just a month and a half ago, Bobby has been active. Those specific verified actions are still emerging as of March 29th, which is today. His tenure began with a swearing-in ceremony alongside President Trump, where he outlined a broad vision to end the chronic disease epidemic, okay, and restore gold standard science to agencies like the NIH, FDA, and CDC. And then it says, this is what has been reported or indicated based on available information. So this is where Grok goes through and it pulls as much fact as humanly possible. It will check the whitehouse.gov or whatever the crap it is. I think it's whitehouse.gov. It will check any HHS website. It will check all different kinds of things. And this is going to be the non-opinion based portion of Grok's answer. And it says, immediately after being sworn in, Kennedy was present when Donald Trump or President Trump signed an executive order establishing the President's Make America Healthy Again Commission. This commission aims to investigate the root causes of chronic childhood diseases, which aligns with Kennedy's longstanding focus on environmental factors and health. He has emphasized radical transparency and eliminating corporate influences within HHS agencies, though no specific policy changes tied to this goal have been detailed in official releases yet. Now, we do have to keep in mind, it has only been a month and a half. Now, just because President Trump hit the ground like freaking running, like the day he was sworn in, he was like, and we're going to sign 7,000 executive orders right now. It's a little different from president versus, head of this or something else. The president, Trump, has the ability to do a lot more, a lot quicker than these other people do. But I do believe that Bobby, RFK Jr., is doing his best and is trying. But according to this, it says Kennedy has vowed to address harmful chemicals in food, water, and air, which we all know there's no, in my personal opinion, this is my opinion, YouTube, don't flag me. There's no reason for there to be fluoride in our water. Fluoride in the water made sense for babies who were teething and teeth were growing in, but after a certain amount of time, it doesn't need to be in there. You're not supposed to ingest fluoride. It tells you on the back of your toothpaste, don't swallow this shit. So anyway, let's keep going. It goes, a promise he reiterated during his swearing-in remarks. Post on X suggests he's begun efforts to remove poison from food and is supporting a movement by 24 states to ban geoengineering practices like chemical spraying, chemtrails, chemical spraying in general. We've talked about these, which he links to public health risks. However, these claims lack official confirmation from HHS sources as of now, and geoengineering regulation falls largely outside HHS jurisdiction, suggesting his influence might be more rhetorical here. So a lot of the things that good old Bobby has said he would like to do, he doesn't actually have the power to do. But the same thing honestly goes for President Trump. A lot of the things that he wants to do, he doesn't have the power to do. It has to go through the House and the Senate. Same thing with whatever Bobby Kennedy wants to do. He does not have the end all be all power to do these things, especially when you're going to go mess with the FDA. You're going to mess with the USDA. You're going to mess with CDC and all these other places. He cannot have the final say. It can never be down to just one person to decide what stays, what goes, what changes, and what stays the same, right? So it says here that on vaccines, a contentious issue given his past skepticism, which I know is what a lot of people talk about the most when they mention Bobby. It's all, generally speaking, not all, I know it's exaggerating, but a lot of it comes down to a lot of people distrust him because of his views on vaccines, and they try to say that he wants all vaccines taken away, which isn't accurate. If you really pay attention to what he says, he believes in the ones that have been around for a very long time and have been proven to be effective and do good, but he also is skeptical of how many are given at once to a child in certain age groups and whatever else, and why, or the ones that are approved as quickly as they are. He is skeptical of those, and with good reason, right? I mean, the science is not always there, even though it claims to be so. He wants to do more to ensure that if the government is going to force you or mandate you to put something in your body, that it is something that has been tried and true, tested, and does not have the adverse side effects like we may have been seeing for the past couple of years over something else. YouTube did not take this video away. It says here, during his confirmation hearings, he insisted he is not anti-vaccine, but wants safety testing and informed consent, which is important. Post-confirmation, Post claims actions like pulling a CDC flu vaccine campaign, reviewing the childhood vaccine schedule, and withdrawing federal funding from schools with COVID vaccine mandates. These lack substantiation from official HHS statements or mainstream reports as of March 29th, and may reflect rumors or misinterpretations rather than enacted policies, which again, the plus to social media is the fact that we can have these conversations. The downside to social media is that a lot of people just post a bunch of bullshit and run with it and never actually have the conversation. They play that telephone game, you know, where one person says it to one person and you pass it down the line. And by the time you get from person number one to the end of the line, the whole thing is just completely messed up and nothing is the same. It didn't end the way it started. And a lot of that seems to happen when it comes to Bobby Kennedy. For some reason, the things that he wants to do, the things that he's against, all these different things, it seems like there's a lot of, I don't know if it's blatant lying on behalf of people who either post about it, make content about it, in the news about it. There seems to be a very big miscommunication. I don't even know if that's the right word, in what he actually stands for and what he doesn't stand for. Anybody can say anything. I could tell you right now that the ground is, you know, orange. And if I say it enough times, somebody's going to be like, well, she keeps saying it. Obviously, it must be real. I guess the ground's orange. And then they're going to start running with it. The next thing you know, people are like, the ground is orange. And when you tell them, no, it's not, it's green or brown because, you know, grass and dirt, they look at you like you're batshit crazy, all because they believe somebody who just pulled some shit out their ass and ran with it. Anyways, let's continue on. It says here, he's signaled plans for structural changes within the HHS agencies. Kennedy has spoken of firing 600 NIH researchers to redirect. Look, let's make sure that we all understand what NIH means. NIH means what? Let's see. Hold on. National Institute of Health. Just want to make sure I got that right. It says he's trying to fire 600 National Institute of Health researchers to redirect focus from infectious diseases to chronic conditions. Infectious diseases like I'm guessing the flu, cold, things like that, and go more towards chronic conditions like diabetes and heart issues and obesity and things like that, which at the end of the day, we've been researching the shit out of the flu and the cold and everything else for as long as humanly possible. still haven't found a way to cure it, just to put some medicine over it to, tamp it down a little bit. We need to research the things that are slowly killing us. The cold doesn't generally slowly kill you. Obesity will slowly kill you, and heart disease will slowly kill you, and diabetes will slowly kill you, and all these other things. So I can understand why he would like to focus on the things that, as our society gets larger, we have more and more people dying from these things than the things we've been researching for however many years, right? So let's continue on. Now, he made this promise during his 2023 campaign. He's reiterated it numerous times in his speeches. While the National Institute of Health funding cuts were proposed in early February 2025, they were blocked by a court order, just so we're all fully aware. There have been no mass firings yet. It does say the word yet. I do feel yet is an important word to keep here, because there are a lot of layoffs going around right now through government agencies. You got Trump talking about getting rid of the federal unions. You have Elon Musk wanting to get rid of all kinds of different things. And there's going to be, they even talked about firing a bunch of postal workers and stuff like that. There will be mass layoffs, like, abounding. But at the end of the day, it's cutting the fat. I personally, truly do not believe that our president wants people to be fired if they are doing a legitimate job. If I'm sitting on my ass all day long and I can't respond to an email telling them what I have done in my job, I either have not been checking my email and doing my job, or I'm not doing enough to give him 5 things. I shouldn't have a job. That is wasteful employment, right? Anyway, let's keep going. That's not the point. Let's see. So it says here that he suggests ending the revolving door between HHS and pharmaceutical industries, but no concrete steps like new hiring policies have been publicly confirmed. We all know that a lot of people are not happy with I always have to figure out how to phrase these things so I don't get completely yanked off this platform. But I think a lot of us, the older we get especially, I know the majority of us here in the live chat and on SquirrelTribe are my age or older. There's obviously a handful of 20s and 30s and early 40s, but most of us are going to be mid 40s and up, right? And I think the older we get, the more we realize that pharmaceutical industries have their hand in everything, absolutely everything. And it's very difficult to lead a healthy, happy life when drug companies and doctors and things kind of make it a little difficult, whether it's health-wise, money-wise, whatever, right? So when you have RFK Jr. in here trying to make America healthy again, and one of the ways he wants to do it is to make it so that instead of when you go to the doctor, they go, oh, let me just give you these 5 prescriptions and just go fill your body with these drugs. He goes, how about we get a doctor that says, have you looked at the way you're eating? Have you thought about going to the gym? Have you thought about, quit smoking or drink more water or get 10,000 steps or focus on whole foods, nutritious foods, stay out of the middle of the grocery store, things like that. There's obviously going to be a ruckus about it, because the second you tell somebody how to fix themselves naturally, guess who loses out on money? The doctors and the pharmaceutical companies. So RFK Jr. wanting to come in and change how that all works is definitely going to be the biggest roadblock he has, because of the money that it will affect. Because again, profit over people, and money makes the world go round. And the 2 things that make the world go around the most are going to be illness and war. Let's see here. It says public health advocates and critics are watching closely. Democrats and scientists fear he might undermine vaccine trust or push unproven treatments, while supporters praise his focus on chronic disease and food safety. Now, I would like to say that when they say unproven treatments, telling somebody to eat healthier is not an unproven treatment. It's just something that they don't want to put the money into having studies and research for, because it undermines their ability to prescribe drugs. You know what I mean? You know what I mean. Anyway, basically RFK has come out. He came out of the gate running with a bunch of bold promises and things that he wanted to get done. And in the first month and a half, he has stepped foot into some of it. But a lot of people are thinking that he's not doing as much as he should be doing in the way that he should be doing it. They think he's focused on things that aren't as important as making America healthy again. But I do feel like a lot of it all goes hand in hand and works together. So I'm going to have to watch this Candace Owens video. I don't personally see RFK Jr. as being blackmailed by some side piece of tail to change the way he's trying to make America healthy again. It doesn't make sense to me. So I need to see exactly what Candace Owens is trying to talk about. I mean, having RFK on a license plate isn't exactly damning evidence of blackmail. It might be damning evidence of a side piece, but that might be about it. So I definitely need to go watch it. If you guys haven't seen it, maybe I'll go watch it too, and we'll discuss it together tomorrow, like a classroom discussion or like a book club kind of thing. We all go watch the same video instead of read the same chapter in a book, and then tomorrow we discuss it all. That could be fun. That could be interesting. But besides that, breathe. I love y'all. Thank you for being here on a Saturday. I do appreciate you. There's a couple different things. I would like to first off go to Tim Walz. Oh, that man. In the beginning of Tim Walz, you guys know who Tim Walz is. He was the running mate for Kamala Harris for vice president to her presidency if the world had lost its ever-loving mind and people had voted her in and she had won. And obviously hell would have frozen over and fire would have rained down from the skies. But the Tim Walz that they let prance around on the stage that they tried to say was the new masculine is exactly what hurt everything. Besides Kamala cackles, Tim Walz, I think, really shot them both in the foot with just being himself. And in the beginning, I was like, oh man, I feel really bad for his wife and his kids. And then it turns out his wife is batshit crazy too. And so is his daughter. I will not talk about his son, Gus, because Gus does seem to have maybe a mental disability or block or something like that. I have nothing bad to say about Gus. His daughter, I don't know her name, but yeah, she probably gets beat up a lot. And his wife, gosh. Yeah. So Tim Walz posted on X. This is a Tim Walz post. I'm going to show you guys right here. It says, I just spoke with Homeland Security to get more information and I will share when I learn more. The University of Minnesota is an international destination for education and research. We have any number of students studying here with visas and we need answers. The reason Tim Walz posted this is because according to the Minnesota Star Tribune or whatever the crap this is, it says international graduate student at U, meaning the university, detained by ICE agents. And I was like, oh, okay. So I wonder why detained by ICE agents. And I don't have any information on that, but it really made me want to go look up Marco Rubio. And I want to explain to you why I looked up Marco Rubio. So Marco Rubio was talking about a Turkish student who was detained. Same thing on a F1 visa, student visa. And this is important. I'm not going to play the whole thing. This is Marco Rubio. There's Marco Rubio talking. I would play it, but I don't know if C-SPAN copyrights their stuff. I feel like they would. So I'm just going to read this to you. And then you'll understand why I bring it up because of Tim Walz and whatever. And Marco Rubio is talking about somebody named Rumeysa Ozturk, which is a Turkish student that they detained. And he says, we revoked her visa. It's an F1 visa, I believe. We revoked it. And here's why. I've said it everywhere and I'll say it again. Now, I'll say it right now. I didn't really like Marco Rubio in the beginning, but a little bit more each day, I'm starting to be like, maybe you're not a snake in the grass. Because what he said here, I was like, yes, high five. I agree with everything here. He says, let me be abundantly clear. You ready? If you apply for a student visa to come to the United States and you say you're coming not just to study, but to participate in movements that vandalize universities, harass students, take over buildings, and cause chaos, we're not giving you that visa. If you lie, get the visa, and then engage in that kind of behavior once you're here, we're going to revoke it. And once your visa is revoked, you're no longer legally in the United States. Like every country, we have the right to remove you. It's that simple. It's crazy, stupid even, for any country to let people in who say, I'm going to your universities to riot, take over libraries, and harass people. I don't care what movement you're with. Why would any country allow that? UK. Anyway, we gave you a visa to study and earn a degree, not to become a social activist tearing up our campuses. If you use your visa to do that, we'll take it away. And I encourage every country to do the same. Every country has the right to decide who enters as a visitor. If you invite me to your house for dinner and I start putting mud on your couch and spray painting your kitchen, you're going to kick me out. We'll do the same if you come to the US and cause a ruckus. We don't want that here. Go do it in your own country, but not in ours. And I was like, oh, That is such a mic drop moment, like that. All those memes where you see the crowd standing up and clapping, and the Arsenio Hall and all this other stuff. That was a moment where I was like, oh, okay, Marco Rubio, maybe you're okay. Because this is exactly how I feel when I see these college campuses that are being overrun by these protesters, whether it's whatever reason they're protesting. Who gives a shit at this point? They are causing damage to these universities and to the other students that are there to actually learn and partake in things. But when you come here on a student visa, we had this conversation yesterday. If you're here because you want to be part of this country, leave that other shit back home. At the end of the day, this is where you are. This is where your loyalty should now lie. Like, that's it. Okay, how about this? You're in a relationship with somebody, and instead of defending them, you're constantly defending your ex or whatever for your ex. If that's where you want to defend, go be with your ex. Why are you here? It's the same thing. Sometimes that's easier to understand for people, but it's the same thing here. If you are here on a student visa or whatever, and you're going to our colleges, our schools to get an education, to get a degree and whatever, whether it's to stay here and be a useful part of the United States of America, or to take that knowledge and go back to your original country, you should still respect the campus that you are on, respect the country that you are in while you are in that country. It doesn't make sense to me. So when Tim Walz posts up about whatever's happening in Minnesota, let me find it again. Hold on. Way too much shit here on my X feed. Homeland Security. If Homeland Security is yanking somebody out of your campus, there's a damn good reason. Please understand that. It's not just because they decided to randomly stick their hand in a hat of names and draw one out and go, oh, guess we're going to go pick up this person at the Minnesota whatever. That's not how it works. Oh, since we're doing this, let me just side chat over here. Y'all remember how I've talked to you about Facebook and how I have a lot of Democrat friends on Facebook because I was friends with them before I knew any better on political stuff and world stuff and whatnot. People I went to school with and in high school or whatever. Well, my husband sends me the screenshot of somebody that technically he's Facebook friends with, because this person and I, we never really liked each other. Him and his wife can kick rocks. I've never been a fan, but they were friends before we ever got together. So it is what it is, right? So he sends me the screenshot of this guy. I'm not going to call them friends at this point. It's been almost 20 years, but this guy that he knows who posted this thing on Facebook. Bless it. Basically saying, if you are a Trump supporter, if you voted for Trump, if you believe in anything he's doing, please unfriend me. You're a piece of shit. You're trash or whatever. Now, my first thought was, if you're making this post, it's because you already know who supports Trump. So why don't you just man up and unfriend them yourself? Why make this whole post about you should unfriend me? But bro, grow up here and go unfriend them yourself. Anyway, so then he says, this is the good part. You ready? Then he says, something along the lines of, you know what? I have the picture, so we'll just go that route. Something along the lines of, oh, I wonder if I can find it. Where is it? Is it here? Wait, I want to read it to you because I don't give a shit. I don't think they watch me, and even if they do, I don't give a shit. Where is it? Don't go anywhere. Nope, that's not it. That's not it. That's not it. We send so much stuff back and forth between our group of people. Oh, here it is. You ready? Okay, I'm going to read this to you. You ready? For anyone who supports this administration, you can defriend me now. I'll promise I'll be okay. My son and wife's social media profile could subject them to possibly being removed from this country for nothing more than exercising their freedom of speech. You get what you wanted. And I was like, the fuck are you talking about? Your social media posts could have your wife and son removed from this country. Are they threatening death to the president? Like, I can't see why your social media post would have you removed from this country. I post shit all the time about how stupid Democrats are, how Kamala Harris is trash, and Joe Biden was dementia riddled and stupid, and Tim Walz is this and whatever. Am I worried about somebody knocking on my door to remove me from the country because of my social media posts? What are we? Britain, like whatever the hell's happening over there where you can get yanked out of your home because you post something that they don't agree with, that part's crazy to me. We are not there yet. Give it time, anything's possible. But as of right now, no, that's not how it works. So then, but wait, there's more. Then he says, blah, 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 blah. Okay. There was comments like in between. I have no idea what these comments were. It says, I'm not even getting into all of that. There are people I'm still connected to that did support him. This isn't abstract. This isn't a theory. This isn't a fucking headline. This is my family and my life. My wife and I did the right thing. Listen, my wife and I did the right thing, immigrated here the right way, paid our dues, and literally built a life together. And And all because, come back. And all because people believe fucking propaganda. My family is at risk of being torn apart. The people who used to count me as a friend that support this shit, I'm asking you, does my family deserve this? Does my wife and son deserve this? The rest of it doesn't matter. Here's what's crazy to me. You ready? I'll tell you anyway, even if you're not ready. If you and your wife did this legally or here the right way, because they're Canadian, if you came here and did everything the right way and you're citizens, why would your wife and son be worried about being yanked away from the home? They also have a daughter. Why isn't he worried about the daughter? Why is it only the wife and son, or only the wife and son running their mouths on social media? Seems to me if you're worried about your wife and son being taken, which is fucking stupid, because they post stuff on social media, I have a real simple solution. You guys ready for this? I don't know why. I mean, it just dawned on me. For some reason, it hasn't dawned on him. Shut the fuck up and quit posting on social media. Right? Like, I don't understand. Obviously, Democrats, because common sense is completely lost on them. If you are so worried that your wife's posts are going to get her deported, even though, according to you, she's a citizen, tell her to shut up. It's just mind-boggling to me that this is even a conversation on, but this is why I keep Facebook. People have said to me all the time, why do you keep Facebook? Facebook is trash and blah, 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 blah. Because of stuff like this. It is so much talking points and it's just political fire for me. Like, it's absolutely, I love it. I think it's great. Anyway, that's why I was talking about Tim Walz and stuff like that. How long have we been doing this? 36 minutes. You guys want more, or you want to go about the rest of your day? Because I'll let you guys go if you want, or we can just keep doing this because I got so much. We could do this for hours. If you need a potty break, I can try to talk about random crap so you can go pee or something. No? All right, you ready? Let's go. Let's see. What do we want to do here? So many things. Oh, this person posted on X. They said JD, meaning JD Vance, and his wife had to stay at a U.S. base in northern Greenland because no one else in the country was willing to host them. I don't really think that the vice president and his wife are going door to door in Greenland or anywhere and knocking on the doors going, hey, can we stay in your guest room? I'm pretty sure that staying on the U.S. base was the original plan. Can you imagine if you're just standing in your kitchen doing something one day and the doorbell rings and you go open the door and it's JD Vance and his wife and like, hey, we traveled here and we kind of like someplace to sleep. You want to let us in? That's not how this works. Like, anyway, I saw that and I thought it was the absolute dumbest thing in the history of dumb. Oh, the other thing I want to mention to you guys again is, or now for the first time, maybe possibly, is that we have another round of storms coming through. Yay. Climate change or weather manipulation, whatever you want to call it. But Ryan Hall, y'all posted it. And every time I look at these maps, my brain thinks vagina, and I don't know why, but it does. Hold on. Wait. There you go. I don't know why. At least that one's orange, which weird. But this is the new storm that's going through. It says here, starting tomorrow, significant severe weather outbreak expected Sunday across Ohio, mid-Mississippi, and Tennessee valleys. Very large hail, damaging winds, and strong tornadoes possible. Cities like Indianapolis, Memphis, Nashville, and Cincinnati stay weather aware. My besties live in Nashville, so I'm gonna need the storm to scoot all around that. But the last time we were supposed to have these storms, I know I talked to you guys about it. It's when we came back from getting my mother-in-law from Georgia to bring her here to hang out for a week during spring break. And we were really worried because it was a 5 out of 5 is what they kept calling it. And we didn't even get a single drop of rain. Not one itty bitty drop. Now, other places got just demolished. It was awful. I think it was 11 or 12 people, maybe more, lost their lives in these tornadoes in, oh, I feel awful for not remembering. I swear it starts with a T and it was in Mississippi. I don't remember now. But according to this isn't as bad. He's not saying it's a 5 of 5, none of that kind of stuff, but they are calling for the winds, the tornadoes, the hail, and all that stuff. So if you happen to be in wherever the orange and yellow is, hello, would you do the work? It's not working because it's too bright. Stop. Y'all can look that shit up yourselves. Wherever it's orange and yellow, just be very careful and safe and whatnot. And in the green, just understand that your flowers are going to grow nicely because there will be a lot of rain. Okay, so that's that. Let's see what else we got. Oh, this here is crazy to me. Y'all know we talked about yesterday. There was the earthquake in Taiwan. Technically, it was Bangkok, but I try not to say that word because I'm a child and I'm a teenager, I guess, because child sounds really stupid when you say it that way. But I can't say the word Bangkok and not, it's just you couldn't have named it something else. No, that's where we want to go with Bangkok. All right, cool. But there was a tornado. There was an earthquake there, and it was like a 7.7 earthquake. And at first, they're like 150 people have lost their lives. Well, last time I checked, it's 1,700 people have lost their lives and still counting and whatnot. But I saw this video, and this isn't in Thailand or whatever, but this is a floating pool between two buildings in the UK. I believe they said it was like near the U.S. embassy. I can think of words. It was near near the U.S. embassy. And I'm thinking to myself, can you imagine if you're in that pool and an earthquake hits? You're dead. One, I couldn't do it. My anxiety could never. I would have had a heart attack before my foot even touched the bottom, because that to me is absolutely terrifying. There's nothing below them. It's glass bottom, so they're looking through the whole thing. No. You have to have a death wish to do things like this. It looks like it should be in Final Destination. Which then I saw this post and I went and watched Final Destination today because it put it in my head. But besides that, I have a video. I sent it to my husband. Now I don't know where it is, of a high rise in the area that had the 7.7 earthquake. And there's a pool on the top of the building, and all the water was sloshing out of the pool and all the way down the side of the building to the ground. And I'm like, no. Then I saw a video earlier of a earthquake where the people were in a pool, and it was a 6.6 aftershock from that 7.7 magnitude in Thailand. There was a 6.6 aftershock in a surrounding city. They said was like 600 miles away, I believe they said. And these people are in the pool, and it's one of those infinity pools where it looks like it just like goes over the edge kind of thing. And there was it's not an infinity pool because they would have gone over the edge. It had a glass side to it. That's not infinity. But then the earthquake happened and water is going everywhere, and they're trying to get out of the pool and everything's shaking. And I'm like, that is terrifying to me. Out of everything, that is probably the most terrifying. Earthquake being on the top floor and not being able to get down, or being on the top floor while everything comes crashing down, is beyond terrifying. Tornadoes scare the crap out of me, the possibility of a tornado. And it's not even for myself. It's obviously for my kid and my husband. Like, what happens to them? How do I keep them safe and stuff like that? Tornado is obviously terrifying. I'm not in a high rise, thank goodness. That's probably another reason why we didn't decide to ever live in a condo, because they are kind of high, and I don't want to ever be in something like that during a earthquake. But watching the videos of what happened in Thailand is definitely scary, especially when you look at the fact that we've had so many like little mini earthquakes throughout the US over the last couple of years. They're saying like the San Andreas fault line has moved and all this other stuff. And there was what city was it, y'all? It was probably a couple weeks ago. There's some city, son of a bitch. There's some city somewhere in the US that makes no sense, but there a random line, like a line in the ground opened up, like in San Andreas when there was like the earthquake, and there was like this little line that starts like a small crack, and it runs all the way through this town. And I can't think of what city it is. I'll have to look it up later, because that's terrifying also, because you just never know where things are going to be safe. Let's see. The other thing I want to show you guys yesterday that I can't. Oh, here we go. Is that the right one? Two things. Oh, yeah, this is the right one. Remember how we talked about Jasmine Crockett? Y'all remember how we talked about Jasmine Crockett and the fact that she's ghetto and trashy? Ghetto fabulous, I guess, is what she'd probably call herself, but just the ghetto minus the fabulous is how I refer to her. But she called the Texas governor, Greg Abbott, she called him something about Hot Wheels. And I was saying then that it's probably kind of funny to a lot of people. Like, you have to have a little humor in everything. But the fact that she made fun of somebody who can't do anything about the fact that he's in a wheelchair was a little fucked up, right? Like, at the end of the day, I can make fun of her eyelashes and her hair and her accent and her horrific dancing and whatever else, but those are things she can fix. But then this came out, and AB, Antonio Brown, Greg Abbott reposted this himself, which is why I think we're allowed to laugh at the Hot Wheels comment. Posted him up in a X-Men style. Why will it not show you the correct? Wait, what do I got to do here to make this work? I'm trying to get the color right. I feel like those makeup kids the girls with the makeup who put their hands behind stuff, it's not going to work, y'all. It's not going to do what it's supposed to do. Either way, they put him in an X-Men outfit, so he looks like what's his name? Xavier? No, what's his name? What's Captain Picard's name in X-Men? Luke? Nope. Jean-Luc Picard? Nope, that's Picard. Hello, I'm still stuck in Star Trek. Professor X, Xavier. So I was right. Okay, so Professor X. Does it show up yet? No, it's really cool looking. It's yellow and blue. But Greg Abbott himself posted it. He said, "Got to add this to my resume. Need the outfit. They see me rolling." I was like, oh my gosh, you have a sense of humor. I love it. That's amazing. And then because we're talking about Texas, it brought me to this. And I know you guys have seen this. And again, I know this is hard to see. I did not think this through with the lighting in here. But these are police officers in Texas who have all, they said, unalived themselves, which is how you have to say it on YouTube for stupid reasons, have unalived themselves in the past 6 weeks. In the same area, the same whatever. You want to tell me? Listen. Okay. 4 Texas deputies from the same Texas Sheriff's Office have unalived themselves in the past 6 weeks. 2 women and 2 men have unalived themselves, and it's absolutely ridiculous. One of them was missing for 2 weeks. They found the body and declared it a end of life. What's the word? Hello, because I can't say the SUICI whatever. A purposeful end of life. One of them, that's what they said about one of them. But then, you ask Groff, what are the odds of finding 4 people in the exact same sheriff's department who unalived themselves within a 6 weeks period? The odds of 4 people at the same job unaliving themselves within 6 weeks are extremely low, roughly 1 in 35 trillion for a group of 100 under general U.S. rates, or 1 in 78 billion in a high-risk job. Larger groups or contagion effects could increase the odds, but without specific workplace details, it's still a rare event. There's obviously something going on there. There's no way there's not something going on there. Now, Texas, being Texas, and the issues that we've had with cartels, with illegal immigration, with Border Patrol, with Homeland Security, with Tom Homan and him trying to make sure the borders are safe, everything that's going on. And you want me to believe that these 4 people in the same department just happen to all unalive themselves in a 6-week period? No, I know that being a police officer is an extremely stressful job. There's no way it's not. You're literally putting your life on the line on a daily basis. You have no idea if you're going to make it home at the end of the day. But I don't believe that they're all sitting around contemplating end of life stuff like that. It's very whatever. And I'm hoping, because I don't have that kind of reach or ability to dig into stuff like that. I can't feed boots on the ground in Texas for it. I am hoping that there's somebody in that area who is able and willing to go out and figure out what really truly happened to these men and women, because there's obviously something there that isn't normal. That's definitely not normal. I had more information on them, but I don't know what I did with it, because their names and stuff like that. I had saved it. Oh, y'all. Oh, there's so many things in here to talk about. Jeez. Okay, we're gonna have to do more tomorrow because there's way too much for tonight. Here it is. Okay. 4 current and former Harris County Sheriff's deputies have died by, within 6 weeks. Deputy Christina Kohler, found dead March 13th after being reported missing. Okay. Former Deputy Maria Vasquez, who left the force in December and died shortly after Kohler. Former Deputy William Bozeman, found under similar circumstances, and former Deputy Long Win, who died in February. So they're saying all 4 of these, who are all former, no longer work there, decided to whatever. Now, were they all laid off? I don't know. That's the only thing I can think is, if these are actually purposeful self end of life, whatever, unless they were all maybe under investigation for something, maybe it was trafficking, maybe they worked with cartels, any of that kind of stuff. That's the only way I could see them all, from being from the same area, the same department, doing something like that. So I'm gonna have to keep paying attention to this, because I want to know exactly what this is. And Harris County, for those of you who are wondering, is in Houston, and Houston has had a lot of issues over the past couple of years. So we're gonna have to keep an eye on that one, because that one to me is huge in trying to figure out exactly what's going on. What else do we have? Oh man, y'all, there's just so much. We could literally do this forever and a day. This is completely off topic, but did you guys ever watch the show Scrubs? I used to watch Scrubs with Zach Braff and the guy from Clueless. I can't think of his name. The black guy from Clueless. I can't think of his name, but I used to like Scrubs. I thought it was a funny show, right? And then I watched this TV show called Happy Endings, and this chick was in both of them. Her name's Eliza Coop, right? I just want to show you. This is what she looked like in Scrubs and in Happy Endings. Very, very pretty. Like I used to watch her on most shows and be like, man, I wish I could look like that. She's my age. She's my age. This is what she looks like now. Now, she made a post, she said that this is highly filtered. So I went to her Instagram to see. Nope, that's what she looks like now. And it's just crazy to me how people in, I want to say media, like actors and actresses and stuff like that, how they can have such massive like physical changes. And of course you think to yourself, okay, well, obviously it's drugs. She says it's not drugs. She says it's because she started eating healthy and clean. And I'm like, bitch, no, you didn't. That is not from eating fruits and vegetables and meats and stuff like that. That's definitely something else. That you should probably reach out to Bobby and ask him how to fix whatever's happening there. But it's crazy because you look at what's going on in health, you look at what's going on in our food, you look at what's going on in the world and stuff like that. Stress, that'll definitely take a toll on people. But when I see stuff like this, it makes me go, okay, we need whatever's going to happen with HHS, with RFK Jr. to really happen. But we also need to focus on, and I don't know how people are going to feel about this, and I don't really care. We do need to focus on mental health, because mental health a lot of times plays a massive role in why people are obese, why people are on drugs, why people are the way they are, right? It's not just, oh, I like to eat. It's whatever mentally is making you want to go overeat. Oh, I just like shooting up and doing drugs. Well, no, it's whatever's going on in here is making you go do that. It's not anything else. Everything starts here with your mind. And so mental health, I think, is huge. And just the things that we've been seeing lately with these libtards losing their minds and keying Teslas because who the hell knows why? That's a mental issue. Like, that is a massive mental issue. These things need to be figured out. Remember the lady who attacked the kid on the subway because he was wearing a Make America Great Again? Hispanic, I think he's either Hispanic or Asian. It was hard for me to tell. And either way, it was hard for me to tell if he was Hispanic or Asian. And he's wearing a MAGA hat on the subway. And this woman loses her mind, is like lunging at him and calling him racist. And he's like, how the hell can I be racist? I'm literally a different race, and I'm just wearing a hat. How is this triggering you to the point where you're screaming at me on a subway in front of all these people? And she was, and then she chased him off the subway, and then she, fell flat on her face in front of everybody, which is karma, doing its job. But either way, they figured out who this woman is. And I know I saved it. I better have saved it. I'll be pissed if I didn't save it. Y'all know how I work, though. Sometimes I think I saved something and then, oh, it's not fair. Where are you? If I didn't say this, I'm be so mad. No, that's Kamala. That's that. That's Trump, Schumer, Lily Phillips. We'll talk about her later. Come on, Michelle, what are you doing with your life? What are we doing? Oh, nope, that's not it. I know I saved this thing, but it's not here. Oh, so this lady, now I can't remember her name, but this lady, she is a bigwig. I don't even know if that's the right word. She's a bigwig who works with brands like Louis Vuitton and Tiffany & Co. and all these other things. And they're saying that they found her name. She's a 55-year-old woman who they've said has lost her ever-loving mind over the past couple of years, who would be screaming at people at her work who are Republicans and calling them all racist and everything else like this. And it's like, I think people forget that if you want to be batshit crazy and just awful like that, people will find out who you are. Like everybody is recording everything at this point in time, which is also why I say mental illness needs to be looked at, because somebody that is willing to lose their mind like that in the public and chase after a child getting off of a train and scream at them, there's obviously something wrong with them mentally. Being a libtard is a mental disorder, in my personal opinion, especially the way we have seen them. I've said it before, not all Democrats are awful, not all Republicans are great. There are some who are accidental Democrats, there are some who are fake Republicans. It just kind of depends on the person. But generally speaking, what we have seen, thanks to social media and cell phones and cameras and stuff like that, have been a lot of lefties who could clearly do with a padded room and a straitjacket. Like there's a lot going on out there. So again, RFK Jr coming in to make America healthy again. A lot of it does go in line with mental health needs to be at the forefront as well. The insane asylums coming back would make sense to me as well, because obviously they are needed. Not having them, there's nowhere to put people who need mental help like that. You can't put them in a regular jail because that's not what they're there for. That's not what they need. And when you put them in a regular jail, then it just causes chaos and wreaks havoc in there. When you just leave them out on the streets, you see what happens. We need something so that people who are having mental issues have a place to actually go and get help, as opposed to being just left to their own devices, because then it goes crazy. Anyway, that's that. Y'all, I love you. We could do this for, again, 75 more hours, but I want to go hang out with my family now. So I hope you guys have a fabulous rest of your Saturday. I was going to do another video to go up later. I might still, just kind of depends. If I do, it'll be late. If you're interested, just check back. It'll be a regular upload. If not, then we'll do another one of these tomorrow. If you're interested in another live stream of whatever random stuff I decide I want to talk about. I love you all. I appreciate you every second of every single day for being here and being part of the tribe, and for being in the live chat with each other, because I think it's great. It gives everybody a community to be part of, because we all think and feel the same. It's very freeing, I think, when you are in a group of people who are like-minded. It takes the pressure and the stress off of you to be able to speak freely. We'll talk about that tomorrow, y'all, because I will forget. In tomorrow's live stream, just remind me, Facebook group. Just say Facebook group, and I will remember the whole conversation we need to have. Different Facebook thing than today. This one's a group, like one of those little pages or whatever, and what happened today with that. So we'll do that tomorrow. Anyway, I love y'all. Have a great rest of your night, and I will see you tomorrow on Sunday, my dudes and dudettes. Bye.